Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a really frustrating mystery, something anyone who sells products online has probably run into. And we're going to dig into a new solution called FeedZip.
So, have you ever had this happen? You find this awesome, innovative supplement or some wellness product you absolutely love, and then poof, it's just gone, disappeared. Or hey, if you're a brand owner, you've probably lived this nightmare. Well, it turns out there's a huge, kind of hidden reason why this keeps happening.
And at the heart of that mystery, it's a multi-billion-dollar problem. Seriously. And it all boils down to something that sounds simple, but is actually super critical. Your product data just isn't speaking the right language for the platforms it's on. You can almost think of it as like a hidden tax on innovation.
Yeah, you are seeing that number correctly. We are talking about an estimated $8 to $12 billion in losses every single year. And that's just in the global supplements market alone. The crazy part is, this isn't happening to bad products. These are great products that are getting their listings totally suppressed just because their data doesn't perfectly line up with these constantly changing platform rules.
So here's the real deal. Platforms like Google, Amazon, Meta, they're not having people manually review every single product anymore. No way. They're using these automated AI systems that are basically the new gatekeepers of discovery. And these systems enforce these super complex, often kind of mysterious rules. So if your product data accidentally triggers a flag, your visibility can just vanish, literally overnight, with zero warning.
Okay, to really get a sense of the scale here, look at this number, 11.7 million. That is how many merchant accounts Google flagged last year alone for just one single policy category, personal hardships. This is that invisible wall that so many awesome, innovative brands are just smashing into.
So, okay, how does this actually play out for a brand, in the real world? Well, it creates this totally fractured and super expensive ecosystem where every platform is speaking a completely different and often conflicting language.
And this right here, this just perfectly illustrates the chaos. I mean, look at something as basic as the title length. Google gives you 150 characters. Amazon gives you 200. But then for Shopify's meta fields, you've only got 60. And a product claim that's totally fine on Amazon, that same claim could get you completely shut down on Google. It is a total compliance nightmare.
Oh, and it gets even more detailed. I mean, look at these words. They seem totally harmless, right? In fact, you'd think they're pretty essential for describing a health product, but just using words like stress, hormonal, or even focus can trigger those automated flags, and boom, a small, innovative brand can lose 30, even 50% of its visibility, instantly.
So you can see how this level of chaos, it just demands a completely new kind of solution. And that's what's happened. A whole new category of tool has emerged, and it's designed not just to, put a Band-Aid on the problem, but to solve it at its very root.
So let's define what we're talking about here. FeedZip calls itself a trust engine. And what does that mean? Well, it's not just about shuffling your data from point A to point B. No, it's about making sure that data is verifiably true, that it's compliant, and that it's understandable to those AI gatekeepers before it even goes live. It's all about unifying the language between the brand and the platform.
And this slide right here really nails the fundamental difference. Your traditional tools, they just sync your data. They just push it out. FeedZip, on the other hand, validates it first. It's checking for compliance, for accuracy, for risk, before it goes anywhere. It's all about preventing the problem before it can even start.
This is a great analogy. If you're in the tech world, you've probably heard of Vanta. They made something incredibly complex, security compliance like SOC 2, way simpler. Well, that's what FeedZip is aiming to do for product data compliance. It's creating this simple, centralized layer of protection for something that is, let's be honest, incredibly complex and super high stakes for brands.
Okay, so how does this engine actually work? How does it take all that mess and turn it into something clear and manageable?
Basically, it works as this continuous proactive loop. First, it scans all your data. Then, it cross-references it against all the different platform policies and suggests corrections. What's really cool is it also enriches the data with the right schema, which you can think of as a blueprint that helps search engines really understand what your product is. And only then does it feed that clean data out to the platforms, all while constantly giving you a score on your risk.
Now, under the hood, this is where it gets really cool. It's all powered by two distinct AI agents. You've got Agent 1, the validator. Its job is to actively scan and check your current data against all the rules, right now. But it works together with Agent R, the memory.
Agent R's job is to remember all the past issues and flags for that specific product. This provides that crucial context so the whole system can start spotting recurring patterns and get smarter. And all of that complex analysis, it gets boiled down into one single, super easy to understand metric, the FeedZip score. This gives a brand a simple, at-a-glance snapshot of their compliance health. How's their content quality, their policy alignment, their technical readiness? It takes that vague, anxious feeling about compliance and turns it into a real number you can actually track and, more importantly, improve.
And this is really key to the whole thing. The core philosophy here is trust, not friction. The system is designed to enable and empower brands, not just to be another blocker. So instead of just saying, nope, can't do that, it actually recommends compliant fixes and helps brands understand why a change is needed. It transforms compliance from this frustrating roadblock into a clear path forward.
So this all leads to what I think is the most important takeaway. This whole approach completely reframes the idea of compliance. It stops being this defensive chore and starts becoming a powerful offensive strategy.
In this mission, it comes directly from the founder, Joe Pizarro. This is a guy who spent 2 decades in the trenches at places like Amazon and iHerb. He saw firsthand how all these small, innovative brands, the lifeblood of the industry, were getting unfairly smacked down by the system. So FeedZip was built specifically to protect them, to level the playing field.
So, what does all this actually mean for a brand? Well, yeah, it means preventing those super costly takedowns, for sure, but it's so much more than that. It means your product data is perfectly structured for the future of search. Think Google's AI overviews. It means your SEO and your compliance efforts are finally working together, not fighting each other. Really, it's about future-proofing your entire business.
And that's the final thought we really want to leave you with. We're in a world where these AI gatekeepers control everything. They control who gets seen. So the brands that can prove their data is trustworthy and compliant, they're not just surviving anymore, they're the ones who are thriving. So what if compliance wasn't your biggest risk, but it was actually your greatest advantage?